Well, good evening, all, and welcome to the Weekly Armchair Podcast. We are live after what can only be described as an abysmal performance yet again by the fabled men in green and white. I'm joined by Hammer, all the way from the States. Thank you for joining me. We will be joined by Reese momentarily. I think he's just doing a couple of things. Just before we get going, we are, as you can see, sponsored by, or in partnership, should I say, with Manchester Mind, which I think myself and Hammer will be phoning up directly after this podcast to talk about our tale of woe, which is Manchester United Football Club. Hammer, welcome. Thanks for joining me. It's late here in the UK. I don't know what to say. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I told you in the backstage was what I've been saying for more than a few weeks now, is that this team's only consistency is inconsistency. And we saw that again today after a game like against Liverpool in the Cup that had everybody going crazy, and it was a back and forth game and goals and everything. They never seem to, what was the saying? They never seem to get out the gate in this one. And, and it was just, we continuously have games where we get dominated against supposedly lesser quality teams. But today, and again, for both teams, I guess the actual getting the goals had to wait until the end of the game. But their goal to tie it started to jump right to the end as well, like on some of the thoughts. But their goal to tie it was pretty much exactly like the lack of quality we had overall in the game today, and they were able to just come back. Ivan Toney had 2-3 people on him, and he was still able to get it to cut back to someone standing there with nobody around him in the middle of right at the penalty spot. So
yeah, it was interesting because you could argue that Tony's goal, the one that was chalked off,
it was margin. Yeah,
it was so marginal, wasn't it? I mean, back in the day, he'd have been peeling away. What a goal! But at the end of the day, I was talking to Johnny Commode over in Florida, and I said to Johnny, I said, "Don't worry, mate, we'll snatch this 1-0." And I thought, yes, I've come good. And then all of a sudden, as usual, they got up the end of the pitch and they score. So let's have a quick dive into it. Look, I thought for about 10, 15 minutes, we were very methodical on our play, quite controlled. The lads were raving about Maino doing some particular turns, etc., which is right. He does, and he has this ability, to play the central midfield role to perfection. He doesn't sprint anyway. He doesn't need to do the Fred Flintstone tap of the legs. He just glides across the pitch, which is great. But there are times actually where you've got to put that to bed, and you've got to be a bit more proactive as well as reactive in the game. And I don't want to have a pop at the kid, because we've got generational talent here and he's getting used to the different types of games that's required at this level. And to be fair, whether you like Brentford or whether you don't like Brentford, I got into a lot of trouble this time last year when we were talking when we got beat 4-0, and I said that Brentford played like a bunch of under 8-year-olds. At that time, they did. Today, they were very, very similar in their play, but they did something with it. They were quick and fast with their ball play, and their short game was good. Their long game was good. But Ivan Toney, irrespective of what happens, and once they progress the ball to him, another dimension opens up for Brentford. And look, Højlund's young. He will learn that side of the game. But just talk to me about what you thought were Brentford's overall strengths today, and why you don't think we could cope with that.
I mean, I think, like you said, today they also had their pace up on their movements and their ball play and the decision makings. So I think, like I said, we never got out of the gate. So I think just they were a step or two quicker in their heads, in their decision makings, in their passing, in their playmaking, and excuse me. And especially when they got up top with Toney, along with the other people, both the people who started, and I'm not going to remember names because, well, there's several reasons I have bad memories. But, the people who started with Toney up top, along with those who came in as subs, they were all playing great in connection with him. And yeah, I got to give Tony credit. He seemed to they had control of the game, but like you said, once they got it into that next phase, along with Tony, he was like another dimension and another electric ball. And it's funny, I was seeing a bunch of people on United fans on Twitter saying, "Oh, maybe it should be Tony," because we want to bring another striker to help Hoyland and all that. But after, and I'm not even talking about this is off the stuff he was in trouble for. He apparently and the club wants big money. I ain't got time for big money debates and back and forth. Just get somebody with some experience and who can do what Hoyland can do as well. I wouldn't mind him. Like you said, today he was great, but it's going to be a whole freaking back and forth. We're trying to get him.
There's an interesting dynamic, wasn't there, between, and I know Reese will talk about when he joins us, is Wissa or Vissa, whatever, however you want to pronounce his name. Very industrious type player, quick. I mean, he should have scored a couple himself, shouldn't he? But him and Tony link together really, really well. So what they tend to do is they stretch the play. So they don't always run, operate down the middle. They operate on the wings as well. Whereas because we play a 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it, we don't. We operate with two wide players, and that's where Hoyland gets a little bit suffocated.
Mm-hmm.
He's not quite
just isolated.
Yeah, he's not quite that number 9 yet that we need. Wonderful, wonderful talent. I think he's going to turn into an absolutely brilliant, brilliant player. But Nathan, hi Nathan. I know you're at a party, mate. Good to see you. Nathan's talking about any chance of us being able to get Ivan Toney's strength, etc., etc. But Box makes a great point here. And that is that you're looking at, as you pointed out, you're looking at 1780. Just before you come in, I'm just going to bring Reese in. All right, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, mate. You all right?
Good. Sorry, guys. I'm a bit late.
No, don't worry. We're just talking about Ivan Toney at the moment and his strengths. And one time has gone in on that. Just give us your thoughts on the game, Reese, and where you think it went wrong for us. But just finish off your Tony point, Hammer.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was almost done with it anyways. The price was the main point that I was going to bring up as well. And yes, he's 28 and all that. So he wants to play for a big club. And as we saw today, he has some of the attributes that we're looking for in a 9. But again, we have so many things to take care of in the summer. I'm not trying to be up for the back and forth that they're going to want. And like Box said, 70 and maybe even up to 100 million they might want for him. So.
Yeah, I for what it's worth, I think he's Arsenal bound anyway. But there you go, Reese. Welcome.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, try and sum that up.
I need a cut. I'm sorry, Julio.
No, don't worry. Try and sum that one up then if you can.
God, where do I start? I mean, like every other Man United fan on Twitter, and obviously we're in groups on WhatsApp and stuff, so everybody's thinking the same. But just a shame off the back of that Liverpool game. I think we're kind of hoping a bit of a turnaround. I don't. I'm not giving us excuses. I don't think that the breaks helped us at all, to be honest, in terms of having that kind of that kick on from that really good sort of vibe. But other than that, I'm really disappointed. I think the back four, as much as it was, they were under the cosh, I don't think we can put any blame on that back four. I think that the midfield and the front three are just awful from them. They've got to give them more. They've got to give them a platform to attack. Attack is the best form of defence, and if we're not got the ball or we're not attacking, it was just so slow and methodical and just obvious, and just really disappointing, to be honest. And Brentford just seemed to know exactly how we were going to play. We're comfortable with how we were playing, soaking up the pressure, and just seemed. We just give everybody confidence, don't we, Stu? I mean, and Amber, we just give every team and every player. And I mean, Tony's, could be that player that is the next sort of big striker that everybody's looking for, English striker as well. But he missed some chances today. Do you know what I mean? If he's going to the Euros as well, he missed a hell of a lot of chances. He should have put us to bed. But I don't know. Just disappointed. I mean, even when the Mountain goal went in, I was almost embarrassed to celebrate it. Really, to be honest, it was like, we don't deserve that at all. And to have that feeling is just a weird feeling as a football fan, to be honest. So,
well put. Actually, I mean, Hammer pretty much echoes really what you've been discussing. I mean, both Vista that header, he'll be kicking himself, for the rest of his career. It was on the plate, wasn't it? And the first half, Tony, as you quite rightly say, missed a couple of good chances. They do operate the width nicely, though, Visser and Tony. They operate the middle and the wide parts really well. We were talking about Højlund today. Difficult for him to actually get into the game. He was out muscled a lot by the two centre halves, but he's young and he'll learn that side of the game. But it doesn't help when you've got two wide players who were pretty much ineffective today, Rashford and Garnacho, which is unusual for Garnacho because he will, he kind of drifts in and out of games, but he didn't drift anywhere today. It's a very strange performance from him. I was always critical of Mino as well. Not that I want to be critical of him because we've got generational talent there, but there are some times where you've actually got to, instead of being typical Mino, which is a wonderful talent, you've got to put your foot on the pedal on the odd occasion, play your ball fast, and he doesn't. He plays at one speed, which I do like about him. But today wasn't the game to play at one speed. So I thought it was interesting. I thought that I think you're both 100%. I think Brentford, Thomas Frank knew exactly what we were going to give him. It wasn't difficult, I don't think. And we don't seem to have that ability for whatever reason, which I'm dumbfounded by. We don't have that ability to kind of stand back during a game and look what's happening and unfolding in front of us and actually doing something about it. So very, very strange performance. Very strange performance.
I just don't think we've got an ability, Stu, just to we haven't got any style, have we? I think that's the main thing. Like, I think with the Liverpool game, when we were taking on that pressure and kind of counter-attacking on them, if you like, in that FA Cup game, it kind of suited our style that we were kind of the underdogs and we were at us back to the wall. When we've got to go out and figure a team out and break them down, it's where we've always struggled. And, you mentioned Garnacho there. We're putting a lot on a young man's shoulders, really, the young kid's shoulders. He's going to have ups and downs, especially in a young career like his. I think it's tough. I think, Højlund, what we're wanting out of Højlund, what are we after from him, we don't really know. To have him back to goal is the toughest sort of thing to do in football, and we're doing that, and he's expected to sort of muscle in against two centre halves, as you said, and he's often than not losing out. Rashford and both Garnacho inverted wingers coming inside trying to shoot, so it makes him ineffective. I don't know how Bruno fits in at the minute. Last 10, 15 minutes, he seemed to sort of start doing a little bit. But other than that, he was just, what sort of midfielder is he? Is he a number? Is he a 10? Is he an 8? What is he? I don't know what he's doing. So it's just a mess, I think, from back to front, really. And in all honesty, the back four, we could pick holes in that and say that, there was some missed tackles and we were out of position sometimes, but really, there's nothing much more they could have done today, really, to be honest. We've
had 3 life-saving tackles, haven't we? Dalot, and I think was it Lindelof twice. I thought when Maguire came on, I thought he was fucking excellent, Maguire. And I know people won't like it; they don't like what I'm hearing, what I'm saying, but he was superb again. I thought he did keep the score down. I think Box is right. I thought Varane was quite steady. Wan-Bissaka steady. I think you're right about the back four. When you've got constant pressure, you're clearing the ball and it's complete turnover all the time. As a centre half, and I see this a lot in the league that I play, because we play against a lot better players than what I ever made. We're talking pros here, and the ball just keeps coming back at you. It wears you down physically and it wears you down mentally, and we can't cope with that. We just can't. And I'm going to bring in Hammer in a minute, but your point about Bruno is going to rage as a debate now, because I'm with you on this, and I've thought this for a long, long time now. Where are you? What are you doing? What are we going to do with that midfield 3? I think we need to go to a 2 up front and play Bruno as a 10. That's what I think. I think we need 2 focal strikers. It's not working for me at this point in time, Garnacho and Rashford. So something's got to give. You go for a 2 up front, you give Bruno that free roll in behind, which he can go to a 3 or tuck into a 4. We need something like that. So, Hammer, whatever you your thoughts are, pal.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I agree with what recently and you were saying too about the back four. There was only so much they can do, and the constant pressure. I mean, in any sport, you can say it's the same train of thought in American football. I don't know. Sometimes y'all don't let me bring it up, but like one of the things you hear a lot as when you're playing and stuff is you want to get your defense off the field because you don't need your defense there all game long. And when it gets to the fourth quarter in American football and your defense has been on the field all game, they're just going to be too tired to do anything. So it's the same thing when you're a defender in football and you are trying to continuously deal with that onslaught, if you will. It's a bigger issue. For the overall thing, I don't know. This could be both for just the rest of this season and then going into next season as well. I get the point about Bruno, but also the midfield. He's been the only person who's been playing every game, right? Mano's come into it now. Casemiro is either injured or suspended. I don't know where Eriksen's gone. Mount's been injured. Maybe he is going to be eventually getting back up to that top, like Julio said and like Stu said, maybe going two up top and having Bruno just play that 10 there. But we're either going to need to change how we're approaching the midfield because and from the way I'm looking at it, unless things are calm enough for Bruno and Mano and whoever the third option is to be able to have some control, we don't have enough control in the midfield. We rarely do. And that just continues to when you talk about turnovers, like Reach mentioned, and then just the continuous pressure on the back four. We need to improve the team as we know, but for the rest of the season, we might need to change the approach because we're just going to keep getting run over in midfield.
Yeah, look, totally agree with you. I think Ten Hag's got to be bold now. Luckily for us, Tottenham, we've got City, Arsenal and Liverpool to play pretty much back-to-back, haven't they, mid-May? We've got Liverpool and I think we've got Chelsea, and I think those are difficult games for us, but the rest of may be winnable. And I haven't looked at Villa's schedule, so I don't know what Villa are doing. But us dropping points today, Tottenham scraping over the line against Luton. You know, most pundits thought Tottenham would do Luton 5-1. And obviously Villa beating Wolves quite comfortably, really, in the end. You know 2-0. Newcastle getting that last gasp result, which is fucking annoying when they were 3-1 down. And they've got the balls, the attitude to come back and score. You know, that game, I don't know if you saw it, lads. It was an Anthony Gordon just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna turn the game over. And he did. And we brought the substitutes into play. We don't seem to be able to do this. This is what I'm getting at. We don't seem to be able to turn a game over. We don't seem to be able to grab it from the depth of despair and cross that line comfortably. We grab it from the depths of despair and it just drags us down, and that's our problem. Reece, what can Ten Hag do? It's an unfair question, this, pal, but if you are Ten Hag tonight, what are you thinking? The same applies to you as straight after, Hammer. What are you thinking? What are you going to do tomorrow?
I mean, I feel a little, probably as most fans do now at this stage, feel a little sorry for him. Maybe some fans don't. I do. I think off the back of that Liverpool game, he got a reaction. I think as fans, we got the same sort of reaction really, where we saw the team go out there, put an effort in, and the effort got a result, a very good result, against Liverpool in a closely contested game. And it showed us as fans that these players haven't got the ability to be at Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City's level. But if they put an effort in, they might get a result against some of those teams. So what we need to see is these players putting that same effort in every week. And I think what pissed Ten Hag off today is that they didn't put that effort in again. Once again, there was players walking, there's players not putting tackles in, there's players not showing the effort. And you could see him on the sidelines screaming and shouting, which I think, there was a couple of guys in the chat earlier on saying it's the most furious I've seen Ten Hag in a while, if at all, since he's been at United. And it's probably because he's thinking, I got a result out of you guys 2 weeks ago, and you've shown up here today, and you're doing the same thing as you were 3 or 4 weeks ago and beyond. I don't know what he does, Stu. He's at a point now where I think, going back to the Rangnick days, He said, we need to lose players. There's still players in this team that need to go. There's 10, 11, 12 players that are still in this team that need to be, chopped off and replaced. Those players are still there. Those players are still looming around in that club. They need to go. They need to leave, and it's efforts. And I'm not going to mention names because I'm just not going to do that tonight because I just don't want to be that. But there's players that are playing in that team who are not good enough. It's as simple as that. They'll turn up and there's a spark, there's a moment. There's a spark of the moment in players that play for Palace, who'll play for Brentford, who'll play for Wolves, who'll play for Spurs. There's players in the league that have got spark moments. We need players who are doing it consistently every week because that's the team that we are. That's Man United, and that's what we need. Not players who are going to spark up and have one game in 5. We need to be playing the same level every single week. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll get time. I know there's a lot of media pressure on him now in terms of who's going to replace him and all that kind of rubbish and stuff. And that's not something I'm necessarily massively interested in. To be fair, I think he's doing the best that he can. But then in a way, I think he's quite naive at times. I think he's a nice guy, but I think that doesn't help him either. Where he's changes and bring Martinez on, bring Casemiro on 75 minutes in. It's a tight game. It's very closely contested. It's still 0-0. Martinez has been out for 8 or 9 weeks. He brings him on. He's obviously clearly awful. Makes an error 5 minutes in. Probably makes an error in terms of the goal that we concede as well. It's naive. It's really naive. But What more can he do, Stu? Now, I think he's had plenty of opportunities to turn it around and shout at the players and do whatever he needs to do and drop people and let people go. And it's not worked, has it? So he's not.
I think he walks in Carrington tomorrow with an AK-47 and uses it on 2 or 3 of these players. Actually, you're right about Martinez. Hammer will tell you this. I went on record 2 weeks ago saying that we should not be bringing Martinez back now to the end of the season. Let's leave him out. It doesn't need to be here. It's not going to change the trajectory of our season. You know what it's like when you pick up an injury. The likes of Martinez has had twice this season already. Just out the equation. Just stay away. Can't seem to do that. I tend to agree with you. I think the whole Eric Ten Hag debate is going to flare up yet again. It's a debate that's never going to go away. It's not going to help with De Zerbi. Quite clearly coming out today or yesterday, whenever it was. Are you signing a new contract? No. So De Zerbi's doing something, whether it gets to Liverpool or whatever, I don't know. I'm sick of rumours. I'm in the press. I understand about what happens. It's lazy. I'm not interested in any of that. I think we need to give him another 12 months, but he's got to do better. Hammer, what's your Ten Hag? What are you doing?
Probably changing my approach and go into something that's going to give me more control, whether it's the style I want to play, or that kind of stuff for the remainder of the season. And then especially now with the back 4, like you said, I kind of actually agree with, letting Martinez get fully healthy, not trying to risk him. But shit, Lindelof pulled up. That's probably a hamstring, and we don't know what Varane's injury was for him to get taken off at halftime and Maguire to come in. So that's 2 more injuries in the back 4 once again for the season. So he might end up having to play through injuries now because he's going to be healthy. But what I would do is kind of what I said before is I think along some of what you were saying, Stu, is change the approach, and I would probably go to something that gives us an overload in the midfield at all times. And this is something that kind of frustrates me because I know, and again, I don't know at the highest level, some of the instructions and stuff like that, but we continuously seem to have our midfield rotating. And when you have quality enough players, that's a good thing. But when you have players whose strengths and weaknesses oppose each other, or is that the right way I'm looking at that? Y'all know what I mean. That isn't a good thing. So what I mean by that is, let's say we go to a 4 in the midfield. There needs to be one person who doesn't move. So whether that's Casemiro, whoever, he's not coming up to help in the attack. He's not being a box-to-box. He's just sitting there the whole game. And that's how I would approach it. Whoever 2 we want at Højlund and whoever up top to try and do something, and then an overload in the midfield. And I know that's not necessarily something that people might always want to see, but like in terms of going forward in the season, That's what I would do. And then further like that, I do agree he might deserve the time because of injuries and stuff. And like Box asked, who would you sign? I'll be honest, I don't freaking know. But somebody with a physical presence, and like I just described, how I would instruct Casemiro, for example, is someone who doesn't care about going forward, someone who doesn't care about scoring goals, someone who wants to sit in front of the defense, make tackles, place, if it's sideline to sideline, however you want to think about it, and just be a destroyer. And I know some people might not like that because they say, oh, we want somebody who can also control. Sure, you can look for that too. But we lack physical presence in that midfield. And if Maino is going to be the one to step in for a position next season, he's not strong enough yet. And Bruno, until somebody pisses him off, he doesn't show his physicality. So we need physicality in the midfield. That's where I would look at Bach, as somebody who is willing to and can physically be a presence in that midfield for us.
Look, totally agree. I'd bring in Paulini from Fulham.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before.
It would be a straight replacement for me, no problem. My issue is this with Ten Hag on today's performance. What could we have done? We're asking that question. What could we have done? I would have changed it completely. If Varane had gone off, you got the issue with Martinez. You bring in Amrabat. You pop in Casemiro at centre back, playing alongside Maguire. He's done that. Or you put McTominay in at centre half, and you bring in Amrabat. But you do something. You don't have to sacrifice or utilise Martinez if you don't need to. The other thing that we've got is, look, I'm not saying we would have won the game if we'd done that, but you don't know. This is the thing about football. You don't know until you try. You can't always rely on, well, I've got to play a centre back. We've seen for years players playing out of position and doing well. Antonio Valencia reinvented himself as a right back. Wasn't the best right back in the world, but he reinvented himself to become a decent player. You see it all the time in other teams. We have this inability for players that are playing at the elite level to want to change and want to win matches by changing. And I find that unacceptable. I really do. Everybody in the comments, there's loads of you watching. Thank you ever so much. Please like and subscribe. Please also, quick reminder that we partnered with Manchester Minds. As I said before, myself and Hammer will probably be speaking to those later on tonight or tomorrow to get over this this further abysmal defeat. Please, if you can donate. We do know that people may look healthy, they may look happy, but deep down they could be in turmoil. Pick up the phone, put your arm around somebody, just say hello. Everyone here at the Weekly Armchair is available if you want to chat to us. You know our Twitter handles, you know where to reach us. Don't not just reach us. I'm not doing play ratings, guys, because I don't think it's a good idea to do play ratings today. I'm not so sure where we are. We're coming up to half an hour. We'll do an extra 10. We'll do another 10 minutes, but I don't want to stay live for the sake of staying live, because I think there's not too much we can really talk about the game. So my question is, guys, moving forward, I've asked you what Ten Hag would do. Are you expecting something different? I believe, Reece, you might be able to check this. Did we play Thursday?
Well, I will check it for you. Yeah, I'm not sure if we do play Thursday. I think we do, don't we?
There are midweek games, aren't there?
Yes. Do we play Thursday? 4th of April. Thursday, yeah. Chelsea. Yeah.
It's Chelsea, isn't it? Yeah. So Chelsea have had a bad result again today against Burnley. What can we do? What will he do? Can we bounce back against Chelsea, who are, let's face it, more unpredictable than we are?
Well, funnily enough, I think they're kind of in a similar situation to us, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think the home fixture, I think I went to the game where we battered them. Was it 3-0, 3-1? I can't remember now off the top of my head. It was before Christmas, I think.
Oh, we destroyed them. Yeah.
They're the only team in the league at that level that were worse than we are at the time.
Yeah.
Chelsea game. It's well, we could quite easily batter them again. Obviously we're away, but I think you never know, really. I suppose it's like I say, it's two teams kind of on just terrible form. And the odd thing with Chelsea is they have got a lot of talent there. They have got a lot of young talent. They're a young side, and when that talent sort of clicks, it can come good. I mean, they've upset or nearly upset Man City. I think at home did they draw. They've had some good fixtures, but then they just have a drop off, don't they? Where they play maybe some of the lesser clubs, and they don't, like we don't, have that fight to get up for a game when it's against a Brentford or a Luton or whoever it may be. It's having that kind of fight to play the minnows, as you like. I'll say minnows, but as if we've got the cheek at the minute to say that, I suppose. But yeah,
really good.
But I mean, in terms of Chelsea game, I don't know. I mean, it's still a big game in my eyes. It's still Man United Chelsea, but it's. I don't know. I'm sort of losing. You get to this kind of stage in the season, top four for me is done. And I think even if we do get top four again, it's like that kind of that feeling, that Mount goal. It's like.
Was my next question. Was going to be my next question before I moved on to Hammer. Where do you think? I mean, look, you know as well as I do, mate. You know my point of view. I don't like top four. I don't like top three. Top two and top I can just about deal with for Champions League. But we could be in a position where fifth could get it, couldn't it? I mean. Where would you sit if we got Champions League and finished fifth? How would that sit with you?
I mean, I felt it was too much a little bit this season, to be honest. I thought it was too much. I think, I love it as a fan. I love going to the games and love, the Wednesday nights at Old Trafford. But it's just too much. I think European football in general is. We'll probably get obviously European football, won't we? But I mean, it's just a little bit too. Champions League a bit too much, I think, for us. I think it's just kind of, it puts all the fans kind of in anticipation of us doing something, and it lets us all down. And I think I think on reality of where we are sit currently now, we've just got to glean something out of these performances, try and get a little bit of form, try and get a little bit of a style, try and get his team, go clicking a little bit, and just get something out of these last few games of this season, just to put us on a positive edge running into the end of the season, into next. I think with assuming that we're going to get top four is just a little bit of an unrealistic goal, considering how many points we are behind that situation now. What, we more than 10 points now behind?
Yeah, something like that.
8 points behind fifth or something, isn't it? As well, like we're miles behind. So I think realistically, let's just try and get some performances in. Let the fans celebrate something and just put some good performances in. I think top four's. Even if it was realistic, Stu, I think it's probably something that is just a little bit too much too soon going into next season. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to leave. I think Casemiro's done, isn't he? I think Varane's on his way.
Yeah, I think Casemiro's Saudi Arabia bound, isn't he? Martial's gone.
Yeah.
Varane will either sign a new contract on lesser money, or he'll go and take the money at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, totally agree.
So there's a lot of change coming. I think that's got to be the key for next season. Just trying to build the side off the back of Garnacho, Maino, Højlund, those players really, and trying to build around those sort of players. But yeah, if we get it, then it'll be an amazing run, that's for sure. So
it's gonna be one of those. Emma, what's your thoughts, pal?
I mean, I'm kind of along the same in terms of just getting something. Let's go with entertaining out of the rest of the season. I think I saw on the stream I was watching, it was Tim Howard was one of the halftime people, whatever you want to call them, studio people.
Yeah,
and he was at United for a little bit, and he talked about he was like, United fans expect entertainment and attacking and control and fast pace and scoring, and when you don't have that, they expect the most, and he was like they deserve to expect the most. And then in terms of stuff moving on, so sorry, for this season I would just fucking change shit if we need to change it, and just try our best, which is a sad thing to say for a club like Manchester United. And then moving on in terms of what you guys are talking about with people leaving, I mean, there are a lot of people outside of those just being queued up to be sold. I think there are people who are going to be wanting to leave as well, like a Van de Beek. Amrabat isn't staying. He was alone, and he's alone anyways, right?
He's alone. He'll just go straight back when he Amrabat.
is Ericsson's contract up, or is he going to have to be sold?
No contract. Ericsson's contract, I think, is up this summer.
Yeah, so that as well. I mean, I know Martial's up, so he's already said his people already said he's leaving.
Martial's gone anyway. Yeah, Martial's
right.
gone.
Van de Beek is going to want to leave because he's barely playing on his loan, I think, too. Right. So like,
he got hauled off, didn't he? I think the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he got hauled off. I think we appear to have problems with a lot of our loan players. I don't think Fernandez is ripping up for Benfica.
I heard that too.
Not ripping anything up at Seville at all, is he? So we've got some great prospects for the future, Hammer and Reece. There's no two ways about it. I know, Reece, you do watch it. You take your lad, don't you, sometimes, the 21s? And is it the 18s as well?
I have done a couple of times, yeah. So, but not recently, no. But yeah, there's some. I mean, we've always got a good sort of academy coming through, haven't we? I think we can rely on that. I think that has been something that has been ticking over for us quite well. But it's just, we look at Mainu now, and we've done this in the past, haven't we, Stu? Really, and I'm aware we bring these young kids in, and like we just put a lot of focus on them like straight away. I mean, Garnacho, everyone's on Mainu at the minute, but we forget that Garnacho's still a really young kid in the same squad as he was.
2021.
Yeah, no, he's 19, is he? I think.
19, I think. Yeah, no,
yeah, he's 19.
No way, still 19.
Yeah, he's a tiddler. He's a tiddler.
Doesn't he have a kid?
Yeah, I like Dan Gore. I think Dan Gore's going to be very, very good.
Oh shit! But again, he's still 19. God damn, sorry.
It's how you go about doing it and nurturing these players, isn't it? I mean, you're well positioned actually. So I haven't coached my lad's 23 now, so I coach my lad coming through, and I know what it's like to try and nurture a young child. I mean, you're doing it with your boys, aren't you, at the moment, coaching your lad's team, and it's difficult, isn't it, sometimes to get them fully focused as well as interested and as well as happy, because that's really the key element to it, those three. Being able to coach, improve, get them interested, but keep them happy, keep them smiling, and that's difficult. And when was the last time you saw a United player smile? Forget Liverpool 2 weeks ago. When was the last time you really saw a United player look absolutely delighted to be on that pitch?
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I mean, it's you hear a lot of footballers these days talking about, not enjoying football. I suppose it becomes a young age for them. I see it we've had a couple of players from our kids team that have, been assigned for Barnsley, and a couple that have been at Leeds and maybe at Hull, and it becomes very serious quite quickly for them at a young age, 8, 9, 10. If they're lucky, and then if they're even luckier, then maybe 11 or 12, and they're a little older, but it's very rare. So they're in and around the system from a very young age, playing against other academy teams up and around the country from 8, 9, 10, 11. And when they get to...
And I wish. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad.
Well, sorry, I just know something that from an American point of view. When I was growing up, we don't have shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and then if you wanted to do something with an MLS team, it was just stupid money, so people couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a subjective thing, because obviously you're relying on people, scouts, to find you and stuff. And you might think your lads are the next best thing, but it depends on their view. So it's a very subjective thing. So people go through the system and get to 16, 17, and they might have been in it since they were 9, get dropped off and never ever make it. And it's such a cruel system. Mm-hmm. But by the time they get to that age, you see your Rashfords of this world, they can sort of feel really disillusioned. And with football, again, I'm not giving him an excuse, because I think he's in a privileged position playing for an unbelievable team. And is doing things that are doing something that a lot of us would take his place in a heartbeat for. So, yeah, you've got to be happy doing your job. I think any job, whether it's a footballer or working in an office somewhere or doing whatever it is you're doing, and if you're not, then you need to find an alternative. But
one thing I'll add to that too, and I've seen it in some young American sports players and athletes and all that is, and I think this comes to the team. And like you said, they're put into the system of it at such a young age that it probably just at a certain point just becomes so monotonous. They need to. I think some young players aren't prepared like in terms of education and knowledge and understanding. And I think they might have a little bit of a disillusion of what it's going to be when you get at that top level. Like, yeah, you're going to be at the top, but you're going to be at the top, and there's going to be expectations and eyes and professionalism, and this how it needs to be done. And I think some young players, especially over here in the States, right, because you get drafted over here in the States, so you go from college to, oh shit, you got to be on time, show it to me, and I think some players, plus the money, right? You go from under 21s for y'all in reserves and all that to millionaire money. You know what I mean? So that is also what I think.
Actually, Hammer, it's getting worse in the UK because there's a friend of my lads who's playing at Chelsea. He's 18, 19, something like that. He's living in a £3 million mansion, and he's on like $9,000 a week.
Yeah, the states have just started the last couple of years NIL for collegiate students, so that's been getting abused a lot, which is NIL, which is now I wanted college athletes in the states to make money because people make billions off their name and stuff, but now it's just people throwing money at them, and it's 17, 18, 19-year-old kids getting millions of dollars while still in college.
Yeah, well, Dylan, bless him, he's never going to see the first team at Chelsea. Never. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not good enough. He just won't see it. So he's going to have to go down to, I don't know, Swansea.
Yeah, he's going to have to, yeah.
He signs a 5-year contract at $9,000 a week. Now, if you're sensible with your money, you're okay. You get done after 5 years. You go work part-time somewhere,
You know what I can do with $9,000? Sorry.
Well, and this is the problem, isn't it? It's one of those. But anyway, guys, look, it's 42 minutes. We're going to wrap it up. It's been I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we tried to make it.
And sorry, just to annoy Trevor real quick, and just to take a second step back.
Sorry.
He just jumped in.
Sorry, Trevor, you're late.
I just want to say too about just making changes going forward, like we talked about how so many players are going to have to be leaving. I hope that with the new people coming in, that we at least get some faster movement on bringing people in. And what I mean by that is I've seen us being connected to all these center backs and stuff, and like whether you guys want him or not, right? The guy at Juventus, Bremer, right? Like I saw a post, he has a release clause for what, 50 million or whatever. If he's at the top, one of the people at the top of your list, don't waste time. Just go and do it, and then worry about, okay, sell X, Y, Z, make money back, and go get more players. But like, if there's somebody at the top of your list ready, get them. Don't wait.
I actually think you'll see that this time around. Just before we go, Hammer, I just want you to just give us a quick synopsis on our man that's potentially going to make the Kansas Chiefs team. We've got a Welsh rugby guy, haven't we? Apparently, we're all talking about him.
Well, I will put it this way. I saw it, but I don't know him specifically. I don't watch rugby too much. But with what I do know about the way the Chiefs play and the way they use people, do not be shocked if he starts making big plays right off the bat, because with Mahomes back there, they know how to move people and get them the ball in motion. So what I do know limited about rugby, if this guy is as skilled as he sounds he might be, and they can get him in space, he's going to do some damage, and he's going to be able to do some things. And I've already seen some rugby players make some strides in NFL. Like I remember a couple years back, one guy debuted and they put him on a return. Oh no, as a running back. And he said you literally saw them. They showed it on the sidelines with the mics, and they were like, "Listen, do this, hit this gap, and you'll be gone." First play, hit the gap. They couldn't catch him. Touchdown. So I have no doubt that with the way the Chiefs coach and the way Patrick Mahomes plays, this rugby guy who's coming in might just make an impact right from the start.
I think Box might have. That could well be the guy's name. I don't know. But anyway, good luck to the guy. I hear that if he doesn't make the starting 40, whatever it is, he'll play. He'll play reserves or practice team.
Yeah, practice squad. So he'll probably get dropped down in practice squad if he doesn't make the starting on whatever team offense. He'll probably be offense or special teams, which is still good because if somebody gets a knock, that's who they
just practice all the time, don't they? They practice.
And they practice against the first team. So he's still going to be getting paid too. He's just going to not having to play every week.
I know they were saying that a team of like the Reese. I was just, as he's a kind of like UK guy, I know nothing about American football. Hammer will tell you, my knowledge is useless. Anyway, guys, Trevor, thanks for joining us. Next time, don't be late. As Hammer told me to tell you, he put it in the private chat.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm only joking, Trev. And you're obviously one person we would never sell, pal. Never sell.
Jimmy Madden, troll away. Troll away.
You had that bit, Trev. Trev's on fire tonight already. He's on absolute fire. Trevor, join us Thursday evening. I'm not sure if I'm hosting yet. I don't know. They might even get you to host, Reese, on that one if no one else can host. You haven't hosted for a while, have you?
No, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been coming on these shows. To be fair, I think this is the second one in about 2 or 3 years. So, yeah,
well, you're back as if
maybe I'm bad luck. I don't know. Maybe it's been me coming back. That's the set of bad results, but yeah, I don't think so.
Pal, you're not bad luck. Reece, thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it as always, mate. Great knowledge. Great knowledge as well. Thanks ever so much for coming on. Hammer, if I can't do Thursday, are you up for hosting Thursday?
I'll have to double check, but I might be. Yeah, actually, I might be at the time. So
perhaps let King know, or we'll discuss between us. Just a quick reminder as well. We are partnering up with Manchester Mind. Please, if you can afford £3, phone up and donate. You never know who will benefit from it.
And I do just like to point out, just because it's mental health sometimes, when I remember, if you do need some motivation and stuff like that, I do have a podcast. It's on all regular streaming services. It's called Mental Strength Motivation. The link's also in my bio on Twitter.
All right then. And Reese, where can people find you, pal?
My United podcast. I'm on Twitter, just fairly low key, really. To be fair, don't do much myself at the moment, but I'm always on there, and I was in there chatting away on Twitter. So catch me on there if you can. Excellent,
Hammer. We know where to find you, and you can abuse me as always at Stu Woolley. So, are we watching the game through our fingers? Who knows? But thanks very much on Thursday. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a great show. Thank you again, lads. And we're out of here. Bye now.